But the thing with Debbie Reynolds, and I do have a personal story about Debbie Reynolds. I was living in California, and I heard that Debbie Reynolds was doing a show at like the Pasadena Civic Center. So I rented a car for the day, bought tickets for all my friends, only 2 of them came. Because they were like, we're gonna drive to Pasadena to see Debbie Reynolds. Yes. Got in the car. We were the youngest people there by 55 years, easily. And all the other older gay men, like when they saw us, they would cry a little. Phil, I told you, I believe the children are our future. Like the nicest, just old California queers in like lots of turquoise jewelry and ponytails. They were like, you like Debbie too? I'm like, I love her. Debbie Reynolds. All right, Pasadena Civic Center, right? I'm in the balcony because that's where I like to sit. Debbie Reynolds comes out, full gold outfit like she was opening at the Pyramid. That's a casino, right? No. Like full razzle-dazzle, comes out, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, I'm Debbie Reynolds, but I guess you knew that. She does 15 impressions the first 5 minutes she's out on stage. We're dying laughing. In that moment, I'd never seen a woman be funnier in my lifetime. I didn't know, I had seen women, but she's just so captivating. You think like, oh my God, she's a comedic genius, even though she's just doing dick jokes in the voice of Zsa Zsa Gabor. But you're just so captivated with her. And I had always had this thing about Hollywood stars as opposed to grand dames of the theater. You know, because I think when you see an old theater actress like Marion Seldes or Stritch, you know, they're just like, they're so centered. And they're like, I've been through it, and I know myself. You know, like they're very salt of the earth in a different way. And I'd always admired that. I hadn't admired Hollywood stars as much because I thought, there's a lot of sitting down you do filming a movie. And I know somebody gets you water when you're a little too tie-tied for the scene. But Debbie Reynolds comes out and she talks about, you know, I did Singing in the Rain, wasn't that marvelous? And then she shows a clip of her doing Singing in the Rain, right? And she stands there and she watches it with us to share our enjoyment at how good she was. Which I thought, that's a fucking sick move. Again, maybe my last show here, I'll just play clips and watch them with you. You're like, wasn't that funny? God, but she looks fat. Anyway. No. So she watches the clip and she turns back. Yes, I did that when I was 19 years old. Da, da, da. You know, she's talking. She sings a little song, a little parody. Who knows what she's doing? I'm just in complete enjoyment. And then she plays the unsinkable Molly Brown, and she watches it with us. And she turns around, and when she turned around, she was a little, I'm sure it was fake. But she turned around, she rubbed a little tear from her eye, and she said, you know, that's the role I most identify with because I've had my ups and I've had my downs, but I do think I was unsinkable. And we all agreed. We all clapped very loudly for Debbie Reynolds, as loudly as doctors would allow. And in that moment, I had this idea that, you know, it's different for movie stars. Because, like, when you go and see, like, when I go see Liza Minnelli now, I know what I'm going in for. Like, I know it's not going to be Liza Minnelli of 1970. It's It's just not. People change. People change. You're all going to get older and die. Sorry. Welcome to a comedy show. But I know, when I buy a Liza Minnelli ticket, I know what it's going to be. She's going to forget some lyrics. She's going to forget where she is maybe at one point. She's going to say something. She's going to laugh at every joke she says, whether it's funny or not. And then she's going to sing something. It's going to be different than it was. But I'm there because I want to be in her space. And I want to be in the same room as Liza Minnelli. And even her on a terrible day, I'd pay to watch. I would. And poor Debbie Reynolds, I'm thinking, she's carting these films around. And she's constantly reminded, in a very weird way, look at how gorgeous and young and talented I was. Like, you don't have to look at if you remember how hot you were at one point in your life, you can move on past that. Or you can't, who knows? You know who we're talking about. There's a man in Chelsea. He used to live there, I don't know. But there's a man in Chelsea who, he did not follow the Debbie Reynolds rule. He had too many pulls, and I swear to God, his earlobes were about 5 inches long. Because they just kept pulling and pulling, and nobody clipped those up. And I would always see him around Chelsea and be like, girl, I'll do it for you right here. That's insanity. It's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Anywho. But I thought Debbie Reynolds has to take these films around and watch how beautiful and young she was. And she has to sell you that idea for an hour every night in Pasadena. And I thought, you know what? It may not be the theater. It may not be that grandiosity. But Jesus Christ, that takes a lot of gumption. To present yourself as, oh, here was when I was 19. Now I'm 80. Shall we sing Tammy? And just like every other queen in that room, I was like, for fuck's sake, please sing Tammy. Because I love you. Thank you for sacrificing your life and your youth for me to devour on screen for the rest of my life. Thank you for being the singing nun. See, that's a deep cut for you all. Debbie Reynolds played the singing nun. She sang Dominica. Rent it. Rent it, get real stoned. Delightful romp. Delightful romp. I say get real stoned because I grew up Catholic, and that many nuns anywhere makes me very nervous. Because I feel like they'll start making a circle and chanting, and a portal from hell will be opened. The devil will come up and say, I know how much you masturbate, and drag me down. Drag me down.